Hi, it's DeDe here. In this 30-minute yoga session, we'll focus on all sorts of back bending poses, also known as spinal extension, to help cultivate better posture, better mobility, more freedom in our bodies, and maybe some energy too. As usual, if you're on a hard floor, you'll want a yoga mat underneath you. You need a folded towel, you need some water, lots of space. Make sure that you modify things and move more slowly or in a smaller range of motion if you need to. And let's begin in mountain pose. So join me here. Feet underneath your hips, your knees are just slightly unlocked. Your pelvis is neutral and level all the way around. Shoulders back and down, ears over shoulders. And then we'll encircle our ribs with our hands. So take your hand onto your side ribs. Close your eyes. Let's start to breathe through the nose. Try to create maximum expansion of your ribs into your hands with each inhalation. Notice how your breathing has naturally slowed down a little bit because you're emphasizing the depth, the volume of your breath. We want that. That's a good thing. It helps to calm our nervous system down. It's a great place to start our practice. All right, and then release your arms down. You can let your eyes open. Take your arms down to your sides. Now with the right arm, inhale, take the arm back. Feel the stretch in your chest and shoulder. And then exhale, bring your arm to the front. And we'll do the same thing with the left side. So inhale, stretch. And then exhale, a little bit of contraction here to bring the arm forward. Let's add a little twist now. So we're still stretching, but we're also twisting. That's our inhale. Exhale to the front. Same thing over here. So you go at the pace of your breathing. One more each side. And then inhale, take your hands around behind you, get your hands as close together as you can, and then exhale, bring your fingers together in front. So if you can, get your fingers together in back as well. Now we're going to start our first back bend. I'm going to turn to the side, you don't have to. So as you inhale this time, use your glute muscles, the ones where your back pockets are, to press your pelvis forward. And then as you exhale, come back to a more neutral position. So we'll do that again. Inhale, press a little bit forward, just a little bit. And then exhale. So think in terms of your pelvis moving, Nothing too extreme. And if you don't touch your fingers together behind you, that's okay too. Just have them back. All right, now we'll do a little side bend. So inhale, exhale, right arm goes down, left arm goes over. And then we'll switch when you're ready. Inhale. Exhale over. Straighter top arm or more bent, that's totally your call. Check in with how your shoulder's feeling. Maybe a straight arm feels really good, maybe it doesn't. All right, then we'll come back to center. Now we'll lift up onto one set of tiptoes, and then we'll switch. So for a second, we have both heels off the floor. If you need to stabilize yourself against a wall or a sturdy chair or a countertop, make sure you do that. And one more. Now we step the feet out about shoulder width distance apart with the toes turned out, and we do a hip circle. So circle around. Think about your pelvis orbiting around your ankles. Same direction, 2 more. And now we go the other direction. Feel what's happening in your lower body, your hip area, your legs, maybe in your back. And when you get to this part, maybe even in your abdomen too. Make it as big as you can. All right, now we come back to center, arms down. Inhale, sit back and down with your hips a little bit and reach your arms forward as you exhale. And we'll do that again. Shoulders stay down, hips go back, back stays straight. How about one more? All right, now we take our hands as if we're putting them into our back pockets, so back there, and then squeeze your elbows back too. Your feet are right underneath your hips, so we're back to that more narrow stance. Inhale. Exhale, press your hips forward using your hands, just a little bit there, and then inhale, come back up, and do it again, press. Now, if this isn't comfortable for your wrists, you can press your fists into your hips instead. See how that feels. Now, sometimes it seems like we want to bend the knees here because that creates a little bit of what we feel like is a back bend, but see if you can keep your knees straight or almost straight, and push your pelvis forward instead of bending your knees. We have 2 more. Make sure this doesn't feel too extreme. If it feels extreme, you're going too far into your back bend. And 1 more. And then we inhale, we sweep the arms up. And then we bend the knees and we exhale and we hip hinge forward. Let's do that part again. So no back bend here and no back bend here, just neutral. Knees track straight ahead. Two more. This time we stay in the hip hinge position right here, and then we work with the pelvis. So turn your tailbone up, and then turn your tailbone down. Let's see how that feels. We want to keep our low back supple and limber. That will help us with our back bending. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you drop down, and one more. Now you may want to turn sideways, and then slide your hands all the way down, bend your knees more, hands on your shins, your feet, or the ground, or yoga blocks, and relax your neck. This is the opposite of a back bend. This is a forward bend, but also it's spinal flexion, meaning our back is a little bit rounded. Let's slide the hands up onto the shins, inhale up into neutral, and then exhale, fold forward, and we'll do it again. Two more. Feel the stretch in the back of your body. Feel the contraction in the back of your body. And one more. And then we'll take our hands to the very top of our mat and we'll walk our feet back until we're in downward facing dog, and then we'll alternate our heels and we'll breathe. Feel what's happening in your calves, your lower legs, and your feet, even your toes. And then we'll come down. Now you might want your folded towel under your knees, so add that now if you need it. We're coming into child's pose, whether it's long and stretched out like this, or folded much further in like this, or anywhere in between. And then let's help ourselves up. Now we're coming to a hands and knees position. As always, I offer you this option of being up on your fists, if that feels better. Otherwise, you're down on your flat palms. Now let's inhale, and on the exhale, tuck your right toes under and press your right heel back. And then inhale back to hands and knees. Exhale, your left toes tuck under and you press your left heel back. And we'll keep going with this. Hello, Prissy. Meanwhile, your shoulders are away from your ears, your neck is in line with your back, and your elbows are just slightly unlocked. All right, now stop, hands and knees position, or fists and knees. Let's inhale, and with your right thumb up, reach your right arm next to your ear for your exhale. And then we'll keep going with this. Now, if you can't reach right next to your ear, you can't straighten your elbow all the way, that's okay. You just do what you can here. You just reach forward as far as you can. Just go with your breathing. Inhale brings the hand down, and exhale brings the arm out in front. 2 more. And then we'll come down and we'll rest in our child's pose once again. Now we're going to combine those last 2 exercises. So come back up, inhale, left foot back, right arm forward as you exhale. Now stay here. Keep breathing, keep pushing the ground away. So this is helping to create some strength in the muscles that we use to do a back bend. And then we'll switch. Inhale, right toes back, exhale, left arm forward, stay here, push the ground away. Really push. All right, and then release that. Now we'll come down so our pelvis is on the extra padding. If you're using extra padding, you may want to consider using extra padding for this. Now we'll stack the hands, we'll rest the forehead, relaxing the shoulders. Your legs are narrow. You can flex your feet here if that's more comfortable, or you can point your toes. Now one leg lifts up and out and release it down, and then the other leg lifts. Now we're not bending the knee, so just notice what's happening. If you have to look to make sure you're not bending your knee, go ahead and look. It's not a big lift. You'll notice as you lift your leg that a lot of weight gets transferred onto your pelvis. That's why I want you to have the extra padding if you need it. Inhale, exhale, lift your leg, and one more. So that's a little bit of a back bend. You should feel that action in your back. Now let's come into a static back bend where you have your elbows under your shoulders and you're lifting up into the Sphinx pose. So we'll stay here. Feel the stretch in your abdomen, feel the compression in your back. Now we're going to watch me for just a second. We're going to do this. Either you lift just your head, or your head and one of your hands, or your head and both of your arms up. So you decide, and you can do it incrementally if you'd like. So come on down. Let's start with, on the exhale or on the inhale, lifting the head, lowering down, keep the breath going. Now, if you want to lift not quite as high and you want it to be more challenging, take one of your arms with you. Try not to push with your other arm. Just let the other arm be relaxed. Now, if you're doing that one arm variation with me, let's switch to the other arm. So you're still one arm, just the other arm now. Now you want to try a few with both arms, so the pelvis gets very heavy. Don't expect to lift very high. Keeping your legs narrow. All right, let's rest in the Sphinx pose. So bring your elbows back underneath your shoulders and pull your chest through your upper arms. Stay here and breathe. So that was quite a bit of back bending. Let's come into a hands and knees position once again. So take your hands next to your chest and push up to hands and knees. Walk your hands a little bit forward of your shoulders. Inhale, take one arm and reach it through as you drop down, and exhale. And then we'll switch. So this is helping to decompress our spine. You may feel a little bit of tightness or compression around your back muscles and your spine. This should help to alleviate that. Last one. All right, and then we'll come into downward facing dog. And then you'll step your right foot forward. So take a step with your right foot, take a second step with your right foot if you need to, and then drop your left knee and your left foot down. Let's move into this kneeling lunge position. Square your hips, shoulders back. And then we'll inhale and sweep the arms up and exhale them down. So try to find a little bit of back bend here. Inhale, curve your spine a little bit or more than a little bit. How about one more? All right, and then we take our hands down on the inside of our right foot, tuck your left foot under, inhale, lift your left knee, and then exhale and let your front leg straighten a little bit, and then we'll do it again. And then inhale, let your right knee bend, and as you exhale, walk hand over hand around to the other side. Now you might have to make a couple of adjustments with your foot placement. Your left foot should be off to the left here. And then come on up, shoulders back, find a little bit of back bend if you can. Inhale, sweep your arms up. And this time we bend the elbows and sweep around and back and down. Two more. All right, take your hands on the inside, tuck your back foot, lift your back knee, inhale, let your front leg straighten a bit as you exhale. And then again. All right, now bend your left knee, walk around toward me, turn your toes out, your feet are still apart, and then take your hands on your legs, come about halfway up. And then we'll come all the way up and roll the shoulders back and down. Keep your balance. Now, we won't need our extra padding for the remainder of the session, so you can put that off to the side. Let's come into mountain pose. Now, we'll just stand for a moment. You can close your eyes, take a few breaths. So right now, feel that you're not in a back bend. You're nice and straight. Your pelvis is in line with your head, which is in line with your ankles. All right, so we'll do one of my favorite back bending balancing poses, and that's dancer pose. So I'm going to give you the option, if you want to, just take your foot back. In this case, let's call it your right foot back. You don't have to lift it, but if you are going to lift it, check this out. You're going to turn your right thumb up and you're going to grab the sole of your foot so your thumb is going the same direction as your toes. And what I mean by that is this. So hold on to your foot that way and take your left arm kind of forward, kind of up, and soften your standing leg. That's all we're going to do for now. Find a good focal point. Keep your eyes on your focal point now. Both feet are down. Let's take the left foot back, and then if you choose to, you'll turn your left thumb up and you'll grab onto your foot, softening your standing leg. Stay here. So we had two options there, foot on the floor or holding on to the sole of your foot with your thumb going the same direction as your toes. Now let's release. And we'll do the same thing again, right foot back. Maybe you lift it, your thumb is going the same direction as your toes. This time, you're going to sink into your standing leg more and then push your foot up and away, creating some tension in your arm and your leg. Then find the back bend here. Curve your spine. And then let's release slowly. Stay with your focal point. Left foot back. Maybe you hold on to the sole of the foot. And then we start to sink into our standing leg and push the leg up and away. Find the back bend. And then let's ease out of that. Now we're coming into a hip hinge forward. Bend your knees. Your feet are about hip joint distance apart. Hands on your legs. Hinge forward. Shoulders away from ears. Stay here. All right, and then we come up. Step 1 foot forward. 1 foot back, you're on a railroad track with your feet, and then bend your front knee until you feel a stretch in your back calf. Stay right here. Feel the calf stretch. Feel what's happening maybe in the front of your hip as well. Now let's carefully turn to the other direction. And we'll do the same thing here. So your back heel is down, both sets of toes are facing straight on. And then bend your front knee until you feel the stretch. Let your tailbone drop down here if you feel any tension in your back. So all that back bending made me feel more energized, even though I'm calm. I hope you feel that as well. All right, now we step our feet underneath us. Take one heel in front of you, sit your hips back, and then support your torso by putting your hands on your thighs. So feel this stretch down the back of your straight leg. Stay here. And then we'll stand up and we'll switch. Heel, hips back, support with your hands. Think about drawing your tailbone away from your heel. That will really activate the stretch. And then come on up. Facing forward, feet under hips. Take your arms back and just hold them here. And then release and roll your shoulders up and back and down, and one more time. So how did you do? How does your back feel? You may still feel a little bit of the residual sensation of all the effort that our back had to produce to create those back bends. Should be very temporary though. So as usual, thank you for joining me. I'm DeDe.